Bobby G from CGN. I'm delighted and pleased to have this morning with us Isabella McCauley. I do have permission to call her Bella, which is her preferred nickname. So welcome, Bella. Thank you for taking some time out.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Great, thank you. So just want to start off a little bit by, if you would mind telling us a little bit about, how you got into golf, and then a little bit about your junior career, and then we're going to go through where you're at right now.
Yeah, so my dad got me into golf when I was 6 years old, and he actually used to teach golf before I was born. So he just wanted my sister and I to love the game as much as he did. And so when we were young, it was just kind of natural for him to get us into it. And then, eventually we just loved it for ourselves and have been playing it ever since.
So I know, being from Minnesota, I heard that, in the winter, it's not ideal for golf.
Yeah.
So how, at a young age, did you become so accomplished, all state 5 times in a row, phenomenal junior career, even before you became, a world-class collegiate player? How did you maintain and work on that in such difficult, situations in terms of weather?
Yeah, I think it was like a really just a big mindset thing for me, and I like never saw it as a negative being living in Minnesota and playing golf. I always kind of saw it as a positive. And one of the things that's like kind of unique about growing up in Minnesota playing golf is like in the winter, you're really able to spend your time working on fundamentals and like the mechanics of the golf swing that you might not want to do like during the summer months when you're playing tournaments and you're really focusing on score. So I really dedicated, the months of like November through February at least, just literally working on stuff and gaining distance or anything like I felt like I needed to work on that I didn't want to fine tune during the summer. And then at that point I could just go out and play and not worry about it as much. So I always kind of viewed it as a positive, and I think that really helped me.
Well, for everyone listening, that was a tremendous trade secret you just gave in. For people that are always wondering how you can, live in a state in the Midwest where, it is pretty extreme in the winter. I've also heard, for whatever it's worth, that it also prevents burnout, as opposed to being in a warm weather climate, California, Florida, where you have the ability to play every year, where you do get time off to not always be on the course, but to work on other important aspects of the game, as well as fine tuning, as well as physical conditioning, as well as, mental conditioning as well. So thank you for sharing that too a lot. We get a lot of feedback and engagement from people that tune in. And one of the things they keep commenting on and appreciating is how we use this time with you to help you help others. So we appreciate that. Obviously, Ms. Minnesota Golf in 2022, you're obviously a well-known person throughout the state. But that at a very young age also, before we get into college, you were the youngest Minnesotan to compete in the U.S. Women's Open. How cool was that experience at that young age?
Yeah, oh my goodness, it was unreal. I mean, to this day, that's just one of my biggest accomplishments for sure. And what's cool is just like I really was going into the qualifier not really expecting much and just like going in there to have fun and actually like put together 2 really good rounds and made it. And I think that's what's cool about the US Open is obviously like anyone can sign up and try to qualify. And, I was blessed enough to play 2 good rounds and just have a really fun experience for that week at Olympic Club. So it was so super cool. One of probably the best parts was just meeting different professionals and kind of gaining their like some insight of how they like view life on the road and just the LPGA tour in general, and just gaining a lot of insight was really cool.
So obviously, hopefully your parents are watching. Sean and Stephanie, hello. Thank you for raising such a fine young woman and golfer. And I always like to do a shout out to the parents because I know it's a team activity. Someone had to take you around to all those tournaments. Obviously, your father being very instrumental in your career. Is he still your coach? Do you still rely on your dad a lot?
Yeah, absolutely. So my head coach at the U is Matt Higgins, but yes, my dad is still my swing instructor, and actually the two get along really well. My dad and my head coach are really good friends, but yeah, they have a really good relationship, and it's been like a really fun understanding that my dad's like still my swing coach, and he's really the one that's been working with me since I was little, and we just we really work well together, and that like we kind of know what each other's thinking, or like know like my tendencies and what I need to be working on. So it's kind of worked out really well. And yeah, it's kind of fun that I've really just been working with my dad since I can
Great.
remember.
Well, shout out to Coach McCauley for doing an amazing job. Keep it up, Coach. Way to go. I know you're very proud. Um, in terms of decision, obviously fondness for the beautiful state of Minnesota. I know there's only, what, 6 or 7 weeks of summer. That's a joke. But sorry. But how did you decide to stay and go to the University of Minnesota? Were you thinking of other colleges? Was that a difficult decision or no?
Yeah, I was thinking about a couple of different colleges. Actually, growing up, my dream was to play South, and I think like a lot of people, it's like, okay, yeah, like Minnesota, like let's go somewhere South and play year round. But then as like the decision got closer, I realized like, I really just wanted to be close to family. I really loved the team culture at the U, and I loved the coaches, and like those three were by far like the most important things to me. And so ultimately I decided to stay home, and I couldn't have made a better decision.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of visiting the U, and I know that the facilities are off the charts, fantastic.
Yeah.
Your your sports here, your is just unbelievable. The facilities that are built there. So obviously, you didn't sound like you made a big sacrifice in terms of the equipment, facilities, the training, everything else. I think you worked out great.
Yeah, it did. No, we're really lucky. We're blessed for sure to have such amazing facilities. And I definitely think our indoor golf facility is one of the best in the country. It's
I,
awesome.
I would agree from having seen a lot of them. So before we talk about your freshman year, what's your favorite karaoke song?
Oh shoot. Okay. I do not even do karaoke.
Okay.
But okay, like I feel like anything like country related. I love country music, so I could do any
Okay.
country song.
Didn't see that coming, but now we know a little bit more about Bella McCauley. Okay, your freshman year, you started out, competed in all 10 events during your first collegiate season. That is just remarkable because it just goes to show your strength, your wisdom, and your maturity at a young age where you could just jump right in and have a strong impact on the team. How was your freshman season, and what were the highs and lows of freshman year?
Yeah, I think freshman year was awesome. I actually came in with my roommate. We were two of the three freshmen, and it was really fun being able to do it with her, just because you had someone by your side in that. And her like was Mariana. She's really really good, and so it was fun to have someone like my age as well, like pushing me. So I think that helped. Like we really got each other through freshman year for sure. And I will say like fall was a little bit of an adjustment in some ways, like just more so figuring out less so the golf and more so just like figuring out class schedule and like how to balance the travel, just because like wasn't used to the travel as much in high school. But then I think like I slowly made the transition, and it was just like a really fun year, fun experience. By the spring, I think Mariana and I were both like very comfortable with the travel and everything like that. So yeah, it was really fun being able to do it with her. And I think like we really just like pushed each other. And I think a lot of it came just like from the team dynamics that we were able to assimilate so easily.
Right. So at the regional, I see here in notes you had a phenomenal finish sixth at the Westfield Regional, and you got in and you got a bid to the NCAA finals.
Yeah.
And that's where college golf becomes a little difficult as a fan, because you're rooting for a team and then the team doesn't make it. But then plan A1 is that one or more of the people make it as individuals. So how did you handle that? And then what was your mindset going into the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, well, so something people don't really realize is like the regional sites are really like meant for teams and like to get into nationals. That got changed a couple years ago. And so basically, like out of a regional site, there's really only like five, I think it's like 4 or 5 teams that come out, and then there's only one individual outside of those teams. So there's only 6 individuals at nationals, like out of the whole country, which is kind of crazy. So going into regionals, both this year or both my freshman year and sophomore year, I really was like had zero expectations, really just trying to like go out and play some good golf. And I was able to, and I got that individual bid. But it's I think it's one of those things where just like you can't overthink about it. Like if the chips fall where they fall, and you really just have to go out and play your game.
Right. So then your sophomore year, you were a Big Ten champion.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Where was that, and how was that tournament?
Yeah, so that was at Bully Rock, which is in Maryland. We actually go back this year, so that'll be really fun to go back. I loved that golf course. It was so fun, just a really fun week. But yeah, like I think the course really fit my style. It was actually really funny though, because I started out like I shot 2 over on the first round, 1 under on the second, and so I'm like 7 back going into the final day, and I shoot a 64 on the final day, which was just crazy because I don't know, like those are the kind of moments you live for in competitive golf, but you don't always expect to happen at those kind of moments. And so it was just so fun, so surreal. My dad was out there, and so it was really cool to have him out there, and just the whole experience was insane. But yeah, so it ended up being a 3-way actually like tri-champion for the Big Ten.
Wow. So just to get a little bit into the mental side of the game, obviously 64, epic round, historic. That morning, what did you do differently, or was it? I ask this question a lot, but you obviously 7 back. You're still a very competitive, young golfer. So, is there anything different that you do that day where you're just like, all right, pedal on the metal the whole day, or can you get a little inside your head about what your thought process was that morning? And obviously you weren't planning on shooting 64, but you got into a rhythm, and did it just become, like you said, surreal, unconscious, like it's just happening and you just stayed loose the whole day? What was going on upstairs?
Yeah, so I think like I actually got asked that question a lot, and really like I didn't do anything different that morning. I think that's kind of part of how golf works, is like you really just have up and down days, and like you kind of just take that like them as they come, and like there literally could be nothing really different in your swing or your mental approach that day. It's just like how the chips fall, like how you're feeling, like I think in golf, like you're not a robot. Like your every day is like a little different with your golf swing, even just like by a quarter of an inch or whatever it is. And it's like those like minimal things like each day can change. And so I think like I try to just like take the ups and downs as they come, and like not worry too much about it. And that morning everything just kind of clicked for me. And and then I think I was probably through like 8 holes or so, 7, 8 holes, when I kind of started realizing like, okay, like this could be a really good round, and just tried to like stay in it. And I was able to. So it's
What
just
do you, sorry, excuse me. So what do you do to stay in it? What are one of your like
yeah.
go-to mental thoughts or breathing, or how do you stay focused and committed on every single shot to shoot a 64?
Yeah, I try to literally like tell myself like this is like the last shot like of the day. And if I can like, cuz golf is so long, like it could be like 5-hour rounds, And so like walking in between, I'm not thinking about golf at all. Like any of my shots, I'm never thinking about golf. I'm talking with my playing competitors. I'm doing whatever to keep my mind off golf. And then when I get to the shot, I'm like, okay, this is my last shot. This is my last hole, and I need to like make this count. And like this could be like my 7th hole, and it's far from my last, but like that's like my mentality going into it, so I can make every shot like count. And so I do that, and then I also just really try to like also have like a lot of perspective on the golf course, and just like there's a lot of time to be thinking in between, and I'm just like, okay, like it's just golf, like and I'm out here to try my best, and if I try my best and it still doesn't go well, like I can't do anything else about it.
So I've heard this a lot. I just want to know how it resonates with you, but I think this is a great mindset. I'm just sharing this again, as from all the awesome interviews we had, that you don't let golf define you as a person. Is that fair?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Okay.
I live by that.
Okay. And so you had a phenomenal sophomore year, like you said, 64, and then you made it back again to the NCAA 2 years in a row, again as an individual.
Yep.
Unbelievable. Congrats. That's so cool.
Thank you.
And let's talk a little bit about you. I think you were invited to the women's Augusta Amateur. That's this year, or that was?
Yes, it is coming up. It's actually in 2 weeks.
It's in 2 weeks, and that's at in Augusta.
Mhm.
And tell us about what you're thinking about going into that tournament, which is amazing. I'm so glad they have it. It's very exciting.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So the Augusta National Women's Amateur came about in 2019. And so it's, like really the first event in like Masters or just Augusta history of like a women's event being there. And so it's just like really like a fun experience from everyone that I've heard that's been there. It's just like you're really just there to like soak in everything. It's kind of like the epitome of college golf and amateur golf. And so yeah, so I really have like no expectations going into it. It's similar to how I try to be at like a lot of events, but in this one I think it's gonna resonate more, and just that like I'm really there to have a good time, soak up the whole experience, and playing golf and like how I play is really gonna be secondary, because I think like it's just it's all about like being there, and that's truly like a bucket list thing for most people.
What's your favorite food when you go there?
Well, so I was there in like 2017, 2018 for the drive, chip, and putt, and they had like really good things in the snack like concession area. Like these sandwiches were so good. They're out of this world. So I plan on going back for that. And then I think that they'll also like, I feel like they just have really good like sandwiches and like snacks and stuff. So I don't know. I'm just excited for like all the food. I feel like you can't really go wrong there.
Now, is your dad on your bag? Will he be on
No,
your bag?
so I'm actually getting a caddy at the course, but my dad will be out there for all. He wouldn't miss it.
Good chance. That's great. So that's coming up in a few weeks. And then before we talk about the balance of the season, what's currently in your bag? What are you playing with, Bella?
Yeah, so I play Titleist wedges, Scotty Cameron putter, I play TaylorMade irons, and then I play Titleist woods. So pretty simple, really mainly just Titleist, TaylorMade. And I've actually been with those clubs for like a really long time. I've been playing the same P790 irons for like 6-7 years, like something crazy. Obviously new versions, but yeah, like it's actually kind of funny. And then similar with the driver as well, besides like new versions, I've really been with like the same woods for a really long time. So it's kind of funny. I actually go to Second Swing to get fit, and I love it there. Like I have a really great fitter. His name's Aaron Roth. And we really like try out like everything every time I go. Like once a year, like I'll go and I'll try out like Callaway, Ping, whatever, and see like what's the best fit. And it always literally comes back to what I'm playing now, which is crazy.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah.
So then you have the big Masters coming up, and then what are your thoughts about going into this season for the team, and then secondly, how you're playing right now?
Yeah, I think like the teams, like it's been a really fun team dynamic this year. My sister's on the team, and just having like we have a really close-knit team, so having that, and then my coaches are amazing, so just like it's really just fun like traveling together, doing things together. Like we just have a really great time. Yeah, we're like halfway through our spring season right now, and I think it's definitely only on the up, where I'm just really excited to see how the rest of the season plays out. And I think just having like continuing to try to have the mentality of like no expectations going into events will only help us.
Great. Well, Bella, it was so much fun having you. Thank you so much again for joining us and sharing some of your wisdom. We're rooting for you big time here at CGN. We'll be watching and covering the tournaments as well. And so just want to thank you again for taking the time, and thank you for your team for setting this up with our team so we could have the time. And I'll hopefully look forward to seeing you again at Evie Odom and enjoying that experience as well. So thanks again. Have a great day. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, this is so fun. Thank you for having me.